This champion release is going to be one for the ages, as she is the Tank, Death Knight, Paladin, Hunter, Cassante, Rogue, Warrior, Enchanter, Bruiser, Wizard, Warlock, Priest, Assassin, Gunslinger, Druid, Shaman, Necromancer, Ninja, Bard, Monk, Robot, Conjurer, Cassante, Blacksmith, Mystic, Warden, God, Illusionist, Templar, Wizard, Mage, Cougar, Ajama, Karen from Arcane, and she's absolutely broken. Let's just jump right into her abilities. Passive, Drakehound Step. Entering an attack or movement command while casting an ability will cause Ambessa to dash a short distance. Once the ability is cast, casting an ability grants her next attack bonus range, damage, and attack speed, and refunds her energy. This plays out very akin to Callista in some ways, but obviously she's a melee variant, so this passive is just absolutely disgusting, and seeing it in gameplay is also equally as disgusting. It has the Callista feel to it, except on a melee champion, which is unique. There's nothing like this currently in the game, and it just makes it so that she can dog you down in lane, and it's really disgusting to get away from. Q, Cunning Sweep / Sundering Slam. Ambessa sweeps her twin Drakehounds in a semicircle in front of her, dealing bonus damage to enemies hit by the blade. Striking an enemy will transform the next caster's ability for a short period of time, causing her to slam her twin drakes down in the line in front of her, dealing bonus damage to the first enemy hit. Another just super broken ability, amazing for wave clear and just amazing in skirmishes. So one of the cool things here about the Q that you guys are witnessing is not only is it amazing wave clear, she's also inputting the buffers to be able to go backwards where she could go forward. So it's just showing how much potential this champion's going to have. This is kind of nuts in that obviously she has things that Renekton and Darius both want, but she just gets them both combined and somehow fused with Callista because it just, 2024. W, Repudiation. Ambessa gains a shield, briefly braces herself, and then slams the ground to damage nearby enemies. If she blocked any non-minion damage while bracing herself, this ability will deal increased damage. The W looks as obnoxious as you would think that it actually looks. It's just more reach, and when you consider her passive, consider the Q, consider everything else that she's actually getting, this is just where it gets bonkers. Doesn't make any sense why she has so much going on from Renekton, Darius, Cassante, and everything all just fused into one. E, Lacerate. Ambessa whips her twin Drakehounds around herself, dealing damage and slowing nearby enemies. Initiating Drakehound Step from this ability will cause her to strike a second time at the end of the dash. E looks really similar to Q in some ways, but more of a fusion of Darius's Decimate and Renekton's Call to Meek. And I know that I keep referencing these two champions, but it is really just a combination of several champions mushed into one because of how similar a lot of the abilities are, but the passive is really just what throws it over the top. And then last but not least is our Public Execution. Ambessa blinks to the farthest enemy champion in a line of her choosing and suppresses them upon her arrival. She then slams the enemy into the ground where they take damage and are stunned. This obviously plays out a little bit like Cassante meets Yone, and the ability is as broken as it seems. Also, it seems to have like a Leona... It also, if you play Leona, then you'll know about E-ing through multiple enemies and going to the furthest one hit, so there is that. The isolation aspect of it all is also really cool. Also, now we have another champion with another suppression ability in the game, so there is that for really crucial smite fights, even though the timing is going to be very thin. And again, it plays out like Leona, so if there's multiple champions, it'll only blink to the furthest one, as it was read in the description. This is an absolutely bonkers ability. The range on it is absolutely disgusting. Her ability to get onto the backline with this so reliably, it's just not dodgeable. Even the width of this ability is actually pretty forgiving. She is nuts. Again, Ambessa is supposed to be a jungle and a top. I kind of think that in top lane, she's going to have really abusive matchups, so maybe coming out more as a counter pick, but depending on her numbers and everything, that she's obviously just going to be too broken just because she has too much reach, she has too much gank setup, she has too much even disengage with the passive and the way that it works. She's an energy champion, which just makes it that much more difficult to play economy in lane against her. Things just aren't making a whole lot of sense. I mean, you guys are seeing from the gameplay that it's really, really, really hard to run away from her, and she has abilities to get onto you even if teammates are protecting the primary carries. It's just really not fair. She's building pure damage, and yet it looks like she's playing like a tank, and that just doesn't make any sense either. Because of the way that her abilities work and like Black Cleaver and stuff, this is going to be a really good item on her, clearly, and if her ratios are not balanced, her kit is just too strong. I completely think that this is just going to be another Cassante champion, and that's what I've been alluding to when I've been saying that people are going to really like the next champion, and if people thought Cassante was bad, this is just something otherworldly. in the dev FAQ, they actually said that Ambessa doesn't do that well in extended skirmishes, but from all the gameplay and videos, looks like she actually does really well. There is one clip where it doesn't look like she's doing a whole lot of damage, even though she does seem somewhat fed. But if you actually look at the item of the Yasuo here, he has Heartsteel for some reason. So if you take a look at some of the items that she's hitting into, it kind of does make a little bit more sense. Again, until the ratios on all this stuff comes out, it's going to be a little bit hard, but no matter what, she's going to be a balancing nightmare. I think this is the clip that really brings it home. You can see that she just gets into the meat of all of it. Yes, she is fed here. The fedness isn't what so much I care about. It's what she's actually doing in the fight and how durable she looks. And look at how much energy restore she's actually getting back on her abilities as long as she's connecting. It's unlike, I mean, Shen could only dream of having something like this go on. She's an amalgamation of several League of Legends champions, and because of the passive, she gets to fuse things together that they could only dream of. She has Kallista's passive, she has the Shen energy restore, she has Darius and Renekton's dream going on, and the damage, the way that she can itemize, the fact that she can go glass cannon, and because of the shield, just be so tanky, and because of all of the ability haste that she can get as well, she's just spamming everything, and the energy just doesn't go away. This champion is broken on design, and I just feel like she's going to end up like one of these things where it's a nightmare to balance because her kit is just so overtuned, and if her numbers are not bad enough, then she's always going to be viable, just like Cassante. It's just really weird. The fact that she's an AD champion as well, and the fact that she shreds armor for her teammates, what she can build Bruiser, who even knows what other types of things she's going to be able to itemize in the future coming into Season 15. Jungle and top lane means that we have flex potency available there. Whenever you think about maybe even Senna, depending on her dependency on base leveling and whatnot, maybe she can even go bot lane with Senna because this is really disgusting reach. So if Senna's able to even fast her, then you have another Triflex champion actually potentially being talked about. And who knows, if there's a champion that's viable in top lane, it also sometimes means that they're actually even viable in mid. So we're talking about a Quadriflex champion potentially. No matter what, this champion is going to be really cool. It's the first to release from Arcane, and I think that she is going to live up to the hype. I like the design. I like everything about her. I really like these champions that allow for a lot of expression. And because of the way that she can dash in all these different directions and she has to control so much with her abilities, it really allows for very high skill expression. I think it's very exciting to watch her in team fights and how she's actually going to play out in competitive. And also shout out to the devs and all the developers that make these champions and send this stuff out to us here on the public. I feel like riders that are involved with skins, champions, balance, all this other stuff, they never really get enough credit for a lot of the stuff that they are doing. Anyways, that is it for Ambessa, and I look forward to playing her on PBE, and I look forward to talking about her more because this is a champion release that I absolutely can get behind, and it's very easy to actually see from all the gameplay and just her kit that she is going to be a pro play champion. She is going to be multi-flex, and doesn't really look like she actually has that clear of weaknesses because of her R and because of her ability to leap forward and leap backwards. I don't necessarily know what you actually do. I think that she loses to really controlled protect, but other than that, I think that she's going to fare well even against themes and designs that are supposed to be good against her class, which that again is where Balancing Nightmare really comes in.